World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Keyla Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
World Financial Group.
This is Keyla Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Good afternoon. Tony Rogers, your host for Urbanology, The Art of War. I hope all is well. It's a beautiful spring day. Being a Gemini, always love this type of season, even though I do have allergies. So I have a yin and yang as relates to what happens, runny noses and watery eyes and the like. But I still love it. I love spring. I love summer. I'd rather it to be 99 than 9. So as far as the temperature. So that's what's happening. I hope many of you had an opportunity to view the eclipse. And even if you were not able to do it, there was a certain type of energy. When you talk about a one mind or a like mind, is very often we talk about a collective mind. And yesterday was unique in that it had millions of people throughout the country and in many cases the world at a certain particular time focusing on something outside of the matrix of life in which they deal with. And there's a tremendous energy there. There's a tremendous amount of positive frequencies that were generated based on this situation. And all things happen for a reason. Obviously, we all know that there's a need for that type of energy based on the energy that has been dividing the country for some periods of time. But it was good to be able to just reflect on the fact that whoever you may be, uh, there was a certain thing that you had in common with a number of people in the world. My only concern is that there's some people who did not know that there was going to be an eclipse, and there are many who did not realize that they were supposed to have special glasses. So I'm wondering what type of um, pushback will come about as far as some of the uh, short and long term issues that may have occurred. But that's probably another story, maybe even another show. But today, it's the second Tuesday in the month, and I am always happy to share the second Tuesday in the month with my co host, Charlene De La Cruz, who is the director of the Columbia University CU Grow program. And Charlene is just a wonderful person, a hardworking person, but the honor to work and have her as a co-host is important because we started this show with Columbia to have a special day with Columbia because of the MWBE movement way back when Governor Cuomo first came in. And Laverne and Tanya and all of the people who were in the leadership of uh, Columbia University's outreach thought that it would be good to find ways to communicate. So please welcome my good friend, my co-host, Charlene De La Cruz.
Hi, Tony. How are you?
How you doing? This is one of the hardest working women at Columbia University.
I
And
definitely appreciate
dealing with 40 different businesses. There's usually 20, which is a task in itself. And this is just,
Yeah, this is a huge feat for us this year, but it's also an exciting feat to be recognized, by the Minority Business Administration to be considered that we're able to handle this feat. So I feel like if anything, that just speaks to the work that we have done. So yeah, and in actuality, I'll definitely catch up with you later on. But like, we are having a second matching ceremony tomorrow to onboard the second track of the program. So there's
uh,
a lot happening behind the scenes, and just a lot of work has been done so far.
now there's an old saying, no good deed goes unpunished.
That is
so,
true. That
so
is
it seems that the good work that you've done has only brought more work to you because they said Charlene can handle it.
Yeah, so it will definitely be all Charlene. I definitely will have like a good team of colleagues that are going to be supporting us. So all the undertaking in terms of like the interviews, we've been able to onboard a new team member that's managing the track two firms, the relationship with the track two firms. I'm handling all the relationship with the track one firms, and we're just kind of like connecting and collaborating together, just making sure that everything that we're doing is very cohesive. And we also have like our partners that are supporting us with financial training this year. So I don't know if you recall, like we've never really had like financial trainings within the CUGO program. So this year and these two cohorts were able to provide that through the relationship with Bot Capital.
And one of the things that was one of the motivating forces uh, for a lot that Charlene is doing, as well as with Tanya Pope and Laverne Falcon, was when Columbia made their announcement of the expansion, when the map of where they want to be in years to come within the Harlem community, there was a lot of pushback
Yeah,
because the
it's gonna come.
expansion, the expansion was most of the area north of Broadway from
Mhm.
125th Street almost up until, you know, as far as they might want to go because they have a lot of land in that area, the waterfront, the 12th Avenue, all of those types of things. So there were some concessions that were made. One was to make sure that people who are reflective of this community, or the communities 9, 10, 11, and 12 in many cases, who were uh, minority MWBE, minority uh, run organizations, women run organizations, had an opportunity to be a part of that expansion. Besides other different types, of the West Harlem Development Corporation was put together to provide funding for the various programs that would take place. But again, one of the responsibilities that the See You Grow program and many of the programs that are connected to Charlene is to provide that opportunity for people, brown and black and women and minorities in general to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that that I would definitely say that Columbia University does have like a very strong commitment to really contracting to minority owned business, but it's not just minority owned business, but it's women owned businesses and also businesses within our local community. So I know that I may have shared this in prior instances, but like any construction project over $100,000, we do have that requirement that 35% of the spend of that contract, it should go to a minority or women owned or local business. And that is something that we are very aggressive about. We're very rigorous about. We review those invoices. We are questioning every little instance when it comes to those projects. And then also when it comes to projects that are over $1 million, we're not only requiring that you now spend the 35%, but we're also now requiring that you have 40% of the workforce that is reflective of the community that you are working with. So that is minority, women, and local. So it could be men local, women local. But we're definitely are reviewing that in all instances of different projects. So it's something that we are very strongly committed to.
And this is a good segue into our guests. Each week we have business individuals, some with CU Grow, other people who have graduated from CU Grow, or people who are MWBEs that are in the area, and businesses that people should be aware of, since a lot of people watch this particular segment, basically because Charlene is here. But nevertheless, uh, our guest is an entrepreneur. She has a consulting company, which seems to be kind of interesting based on the fact that she represents a lot of businesses that at some point might be able to take part of some of the things that Charlene is doing. Who knows? But I would like for you to meet Keyla Marte and let her talk a little bit about the Kayla Consulting
Hi, Kayla.
companies, actually.
Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you and see you both. Well, I've met Tony before, but Charlene, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Kayla, this is your spotlight now. Let the people know who you are, a little bit about your background and what you're doing and how you have developed and where you would like to be.
Yes. So my name is Kayla, and I am the founder of Kayla Consulting and Company. Originally, my name of my company is Lifting While Climbing, and I had to change it because everyone thought we were in construction. So I did a DBA, but that's what our essence and ethos is. So I started as a first time college graduate, first generation entrepreneur, and I didn't really have a blueprint or anyone to guide me. And so I really honed in on the fact of what was I missing as someone who was new to the landscape. What support, what resources did I need? And originally we started with graphic design, website presence, right? Everyone's like, you have a business, you need a website. So okay, I went and helped and was helping a lot of entrepreneurs doing creative graphic design. And then we grew and we said it's not enough to have a website. How do you get your first sale? Right? What's that process? How do you keep and retain customers? So we went into our 3B framework, which is branding, which is still a little bit of that. How do you make sure you're showing up online, etc. But then we're really honing in on business development. So we learn about business certifications, got certified, and help other entrepreneurs navigate that landscape so that they can ultimately grow and scale. And our last B is back end operations. You truly cannot scale without your back end and some sort of systems and automatizations in the background working for you so you can get out of the weeds and ultimately grow.
I love that. I definitely love that. And it's such a necessary idea and framework that we have. Like I've had those conversations where businesses are already up and running. They already have the contract in hand and they're already working the contract, but then they don't have the presence. They don't have a website. They don't have a capability statement. So I think that's just an amazing way that you have kind of like outlined it from start to finish so that they have some type of framework to follow. So that's amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, what are some of the projects, Kayla, you have been working on, and what are some of the reasons that you felt that you had to diversify? So,
That's a
yeah.
good question. So some of the projects we're working on that excite me or that I'm excited about all of our clients, but we really hone in on minority and women business enterprises. And so two of my top, all of them are my top, but two that come to mind are we're actually helping an amazing initiative called Know Your Heritage, which is centered around natural hair and natural beauty. And so Zenda Walker actually wrote a children's book, and centered it around her daughter's experience being a diverse and African American girl growing up with her hair and having to learn identity, what her history, hair history is, and empowerment. And so we've been helping her get certified as a small minority women owned businesses and as well as her social media presence as she relaunched. She self-published a book and now she's relaunching it. So that's one of our favorites. We also are working with Harlem Fashion Week. They've been around and we really hone in on local businesses that don't have the same access or resources or know-how on how to navigate this space and handhold them through the process. We cheerlead them, we get our hands in, we do it for them so that they're just out of it. They don't have the time, they're overwhelmed and overworked. And so that's where we come in.
So that's one of the reasons I said, my goodness, my ancestors are really working with me because everything that I do, uh, I'm just a vehicle. And when I come up with these ideas, I have to give praise to a higher order. But as the more I thought about it, I said, my goodness, uh, this is a great match.
I love it. I'm
because
excited as you're talking.
because I'm sure that there are a lot of different opportunities and connections that could come about based on the things that you're doing, Charlene, and the things that you're doing, Kayla, even to the point of being completely aware of the needs that Charlene goes through. She goes through many applications because they're to be able to first qualify, but more than that, to be willing to get this free training in so many different ways to allow for you not only to work at Columbia University, but when you get through with the CU Grow program, and there are many programs, even programs that if you just want to start a business, where do you go? And there are programs there. But clients that come your way, Kayla, uh, I think it's a tremendous resource to understand what's necessary in such a massive. Uh, Columbia is like a city, you know.
It really is.
So, how have you found? You know, there's always this thing about um, the old boys club, Kayla, and having access to the same type of things, whether it's capital or other types of situations where uh, female heads of companies don't always have that opportunity. Have you witnessed any of that type of treatment? Almost as being a minority and a woman, it's almost like it's a double whammy in some cases. Have that affected you at all?
Yes, absolutely. And I think we do have to name that although these programs, they have been about over 3 billion in New York City alone, 6 billion plus elsewhere, right? And we could look at from the federal, state, and local. There is a discrepancy within the discrepancy, and it is proven that the MWBE program has actually benefited more white women and Asian versus us and our counterpart, like just them. And so people are frustrated. There are initiatives and studies and reports coming out globally, nationally, different states having the same issues, that these programs are designed to benefit us, but are they actually helping? Are they actually really moving the needle for small businesses? And while the numbers are the numbers, no one can deny numbers. I think that it is a start. It's not the end, but it is a start to diversifying and giving opportunity where there has historically been none, and people have gridlocked and gatekeep a lot of opportunities and information. But it doesn't stop here. There's so much more work to be done, and more of us that have to work together, because there's a fun fact that if, and this is public information but many people don't know, if at least two or three MWBEs go after one request for proposal or opportunity, it must now be a set aside and go to them, right? But if we're not partnering up, or if we're not talking to one another, if we're not connecting, how are we going to tackle this big challenge by ourselves or alone or in a silo? And so we really need bridges to connect one another and work together so that we can get some of this resources for our businesses who desperately need it. And also we qualify. We're more than capable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlene, I'm sure you have faced some of this as relates to the people who are coming to you and are trying to recruit individuals. uh, I do remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember Tanya Pope, who used to be my co-host, and then she, you know, went on and put you into the position. But reflecting back, I remember we had a similar conversation, and there were certain things that Columbia was doing to, uh, and that the term, which is kind of crazy, but uh, the term of men putting their wives into position to receive uh, grants was called men with skirts.
Yeah. That is something that she has, that again, being in this industry, like I've been now in this industry, kind of like in this world, almost 6 years. And one of the best practices that we have internally for Columbia University, if there is a vendor that we're considering to onboard as an approved vendor, they do have to pitch a presentation to us, and not only to like our procurement team, but also our project managers, executive directors. And unfortunately, there has been certain scenarios where we see that yes, this business is certified as a woman-owned business, but the woman of the business is not necessarily allowed to speak, or is quiet throughout the entire presentation. The men are speaking for that person. And we have, you know, we have definitely identified that, and we'll definitely prompt questions to the owner of the business, which is the woman, to really answer some of the questions related to the project. And unfortunately, we do see that happening from time to time, and it actually is still happening, Tony. It's something that I've noticed that the state has been very aggressive in terms of kind of like certifying some of the businesses because of what's been happening. But unfortunately, I feel like sometimes there are women that are women-owned businesses that are actually doing this work, that they go out there and they started this business. It wasn't because of a husband or a brother. They actually did this work. And unfortunately, what I've been witnessing is that a lot of them are now being denied of their certification because there are other businesses that are not doing ethical practices with getting certification. And I definitely agree with Kayla with what she said. There's been, especially it came out during the pandemic, there were so many disparity studies that really identified that, Black owned businesses were not necessarily giving a piece of the pie. And I feel like that's when we really kind of like decided to do a lot of support. We support the Black owner business enterprise that they've been really supporting and creating areas of opportunities for people, giving them development as well. And then within the CU Grow program, again, we are looking at diverse businesses, but we also look at minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. Again, local businesses is also very important to us because we are in this community and we want to work with our local community members. So we want to make sure that they also have a piece of the pie when it comes to the opportunities. But it is extremely unfortunate when it comes to this, and it's just really having a keen eye when this happens and when this is approached to you. Question everything that it comes, like speak with the owner that is quote unquote the owner of the company, because unfortunately these unethical practices are still happening, and we want to make sure that we're able to comply with the requirements that we've had set our standards to. So we have a standard of 35% of our projects that are over $100,000 to go to minority businesses, women-owned businesses, and local businesses. So if we're going to put somebody in that category, we want to make sure that they are who they are. And we definitely are very keen on making sure that's the case.
Well, again, I believe that the fact that you guys are talking now about the same thing means that hopefully you have conversations after this show,
Yes,
because
absolutely.
there's a synergy there.
Well, I mean, I'm upset that Tony's been holding out on me for so long, because I could have definitely used Keyla, and I would have felt a little bit. I would have definitely loved to have Keyla part of the program. We have so many different coaches that have different types of talents, expertise. We have coaches that have expertise in marketing, expertise with business consulting, with HR practices. So definitely would love to connect offline, because I would love to just have like you to come in and just, or maybe like have you as a resource, because I have a lot of like one-on-one with the businesses. Like I just had one today. And again, our program was created by the School of Professional Studies. So the curriculum is more based on a lot of terminologies that are more kind of like at a master's degree level, but it's still business practices. It's very simple business practices, like what's your mission statement, what's your vision, what's your objective. Let's look at a SWOT. Let's do a SWOT analysis, right? So after they do that, they feel overwhelmed and they're like, how am I going to do all of this? Like, look, what's wrong with me? I'm like, okay, great. You discovered the wrong. Now let's find the plan to fix the wrong. So it's just things like that, and just having like resources that I can give to them. Hey, you should connect with Keyla. She does this and she does that. She will be a great resource for you to work with. So I think it's just kind of, again, just building the Rolodex of resources to share out with businesses so that they don't feel overwhelmed. Because I understand that they're doing the most riskiest thing in the world to start a business, and not only to start a business, but start a business in construction. If that's the beyond risk in terms of business practices, so we just want to support them so that they can continue to be successful.
And all of the different things, as you had mentioned, that is part of construction, whether it's painting, whether it's cleaning,
Yeah.
even whether it's serving food.
Yeah. We also have like I don't have any like vendors within like my program that do catering services, but I do have a partner, which is Ascend New York City, and they take on businesses like that. So we're literally, I meet with them every single week, and we're talking about their cohort. I'm talking about my cohort. So whenever I'm out and about and I hear about a business, I can recommend that business to them. So like the construction line comes to me, but like anything else, I refer them immediately to them. So I always want to make sure that if businesses can't work directly with me, I want to give them another resource that it's almost as strong as a CU Grow program that they can also get opportunities with.
Is there any work being done, or I should put it another way? Some of the new structures that are going about. There's a new, not hotel, but a living facility that's on Broadway, the corner of 125th Street by the subway, where the old, what was it, McDuff?
So that's 600 West 125th Street. So that is a student and faculty building. So one of the reasons why that went into about is because we didn't want to take from the community. We wanted, as we usually see, that we already have built and already onboarded and already opened the two new buildings of the business school, which is the Kravis and the Geffen Hall, that's already there, like 131st Street. We do understand that a lot of the students still need a place to live. So that's one of the reasons why we're building that student and faculty building. And I know that the McDonald's left, but it will be back at the lobby of that building. So that lobby area is open and accessible to everybody. The entire lobby of that, in terms of like that dynamic of where the business school is open to the public. So everything that we do, we try to have open space for the public.
Were you able to assist some of the people either in your program, the See You Grow program, or some of the other MWBA focused programs at Columbia to have a presence as far as the work being done and will be done in that location, as well as
Absolutely.
others?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have just so you know that all those buildings that are being built by those CMs, we have to meet with them monthly. And we have to review what their work plans look like. And if they need support with any or sourcing, I'm the one that's sourcing those businesses for them to consider. So there's really no excuse for people to say I can't find them. And I feel like I've said this to you before, Tony. Like we're like I couldn't find them. They don't exist. But you know what? We created a subcontractors list. It's actually live in our local website. People can actually access that through our website now. Over 20 different trades of businesses. So there's no excuse for you to say, I can't find a carpenter, I can't find an electrician, I can't, there's no excuse because there's trades tab for every single, and a lot of the trades that we have, it's like over 20 businesses that we're listing. Now, of course, they would have to vet this, they would have to vet these businesses to make sure that they are qualified for their expectations. But the majority of the businesses that are listed on that list, they are either an approved vendor of the university, which we've already vetted them at some capacity. There are also some of them are graduates of our CU Grove Vendor Development Program. So, but there's still an expectation that you still have to vet this person if you're going to onboard them on your project.
Well, Kayla, what's your thought about that? Is that
Yeah,
something that you might be interested in helping with?
absolutely. We have plenty of people in the construction and related industries, some who are not. And that's the beauty of what we do is we're intersectional and we have diverse businesses, diverse business owners. And sometimes you need someone who has done it before. Anything I'm doing, I've lived. We don't speak to anything we haven't had to face. And so we really speak from the firsthand experience as to the challenges and the nuances. You think that, oh, I'll get the contract, I'll get the $1 million, and then it that everything will be better. That's not how it goes, right? You have to be prepared to receive and run and sustain more money, more problems, as they say, right? So, what does your insurance capability look like? What does your protection, your legal look like? Right. And so we really have gone through it and know what it feels like. And honestly, we want to lift others while we climb, right? So everything we're learning are the businesses too. It's not just Columbia, across the board, SUNY, CUNY, right? What does their supplier diversity look like? It's lacking. Our MWBE, there's a charge to do better and to do more because they're getting left behind. And so that's really what motivates us is until we're in the rooms, until we're getting the same access and opportunities, there's more work to be done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And one of the things again with the whole MWBE program. Matter of fact, last week I interviewed Jim Harding Jr., who is the assistant commissioner for the fire department. But before he was there, even though he's doing a lot there dealing with MWBEs and recruitment, and at some point, there's a female who is now the director of the Vulcans group, which is the organization within the fire department that works with black and brown individuals who similar to the guardians of the police department. But hopefully I'll bring it on. Maybe I might even try to do that with one of the shows that I can share with you, Shirley.
Yeah, I would love that.
See, but I say that is because through the chamber and through many of the things that I've worked with, even with David Patterson, who actually Governor Patterson is the one who unveiled the disparities. We we all knew that there was inadequate support from the state for minority and women-owned businesses who have a large voter block within the country. But it was Governor Patterson who actually conducted the study that actually put on paper the disparities and to actually show how uh, uh, the rate of giving contracts to uh, minority and women-owned businesses did not match the population of the state and taxpayers who are uh, women and minority citizens of the state. And when that report became visible, that's uh, when Andy uh, Cuomo went on his campaign to become governor, said that he would take that and make it real as possible. And to his credit, he did develop a number of different programs that increase the state's uh, uh, ability to award MWBEs to state contracts. So this is something that has gone on for some time, and Columbia and the MTA, because the MTA has always been a lead, which is great because Michael Gardner, who was with the MTA for a long period of time, actually he and Jim Harding, now is the head of the city's MWBE program and initiatives, which uh, is a good contact. Charlene, have you met or do any work with Mike Gardner at all, or Kayla?
Michael Garner, yes. So I would say not like directly, but he is actually served as a through the Ascend New York City partnership. We do support them with developing their anchor board members. Michael Garner is actually one of the board members there, so I have engaged with him through that direction under that scope. Also, I don't know if you recall, a few moons ago, I was also one of the park consultant of the Ascend Regional Program.
Mhm.
He was also one of our opportunity partners under that engagement. So I definitely have engaged with Michael Garner. And I know that he was actually we attended the Women's Builder um, conference last month, and he was one of the keynote speakers at that event as well. So I will definitely say we've been in the room together. I think he knows who I am. Because I've been wearing different hats in the different engagements that we have, but he is definitely a force to be reckoned with. He's definitely speaks highly, and he definitely wants an aggressive MWE program wherever he is. So I know when it came to the NCA, he really was very aggressive about that. And now that he's working within New York City, he's definitely looking forward to building that up and making it even stronger.
And Kayla, have you worked with Mike Garner?
So, as a member of the Bradhurst Merchant Association, which are, our partners in Harlem tourism, he did come to speak to us, gave a presentation, and spoke and answered our questions, and asked openly, gave us his email to reach out. And so he is someone we have worked with and talked with in the past, and I think he too identifies and hears the issues and knows them in and out about this disparity and how much is left to be done, and I think he's doing an effort to change the narrative as well.
Kayla, talk a little bit about Bradhurst because that's another success story in Harlem. I remember many moons ago at a meeting with HCCI and and so many of the ministers who worked, Wyatt T. Walker and so many of the individuals when they were starting. I was at the Chamber of Commerce at that time, and to sit in a room with a lot of ministers, you would be shocked of some of the conversation that, I said, are you a minister talking like that? But Bradhurst was like the South Bronx in a sense. I mean, it was a place that had to be developed. And now, like Eighth Avenue, things have changed tremendously. But tell us how you got involved with Bradhurst.
Yes, so as we know, Harlem is changing. So the Bradhurst Merchant Association was formed about 13, oh no, a little over, so I might have been 20 years now. But the president, who is Miss Lashina Clark, has been serving as the president for the last 10 years and has done an amazing job making sure that the Harlem community, although the changes have happened around it, that the merchants that are in the community and the business owners, even neighbors, people have moved out and no longer live in the Bradhurst district but to still attend our meetings to really help small business owners grow and provide them with the resources and the connections, and ultimately keeping Harlem's ethos and culture, because as the business and landscape change, best believe the merchants will change and continue to leave and disappear. And so they have a mission to really support everyone who is local and neighbors, and just provide them with tools and strategies to succeed as their brick and mortars, their laundry based business, their restaurant business, who come members in a bunch of different industries. So definitely recommend they meet once a month. So the last Wednesday of every month. And it was founded by Mr. Punter. So he's at HGGI. So we've been using his facilities to do the meetings. We've met at the Opportunity Fund in Harlem. And so definitely reach out if you have any questions. They have a website, Bradhurst Merchant Association, and you can definitely become a member if you're interested.
And there's a lot of development that has been done as far as uh, multifaceted housing projects and the like. And when I say housing projects, I mean not necessarily city projects. I'm talking about condominiums,
Uh-huh.
co-ops,
Condo, co-op, yes, all of it.
those types of things. But again, affordable housing. And again, I see some crossover because many of the individuals that are part of the Bradhurst Merchants Association, some of the businesses might also find some home at Columbia University with Charlene D. La Cruz. You never know. I hold this tape so I can start looking for finder's fees. but it's always good to be, and that's part of what urbanology is about. Is really bringing the people together that sometimes are not always able to talk to each other. And what are the benefits of having the Soul City family, the WACR family, which actually due to the pandemic, as Charlene knows, a lot of the work that we did was through WACR in the studio. And then when we could not get into the college, like everybody else in the world, we started dealing with Zoom. And around that same time, I had been talking to Matt McCoy, who has the Matt and Jasmine and all of the team for Soul City. They're the only fully black owned streaming television network in the country. And which means that there's always a struggle, when, when you first you're looking like this in a company that, especially as it starts to grow, but they provided opportunities like this, and things went so well that even when you could go back into the studio WHCR, I have two actually. WHCR, this is the streaming component of it, but as we speak, between 4 and 5, there's also a radio. So some people are listening to me on radio because I can pre-record my shows on Monday, and they play it between 4 and 5 on WACR 90.3 FM. So it expanded my ability to talk with people, but it gives me more of an opportunity to bring people like Kayla into contact with people. Yeah, Charlene. And what that means is there's so many people who can be influenced by knowing both of you,
Yeah, absolutely.
and that's the beauty of it. When I want to make sure that every time someone walks through the campus of Columbia University or some of the properties of Columbia University and see black and brown people working, that Charlene had something to do with that. Or when people go to, Bradhurst and see all of that stuff that's happening, some of the things that are happening, that there's a face behind it. They know a Keyla Marte. These are the things that we now have the ability to write our own narrative about,
Yeah.
and to allow for people uh, to see. And it's getting popular. I'm in conversations with Mayor Adams to come on to the show at some point. And we might even do it with Columbia if we can. I don't know. But
I
I
know.
have to work their schedule, but they know that, on Tuesdays that we do this. So uh, I think Commissioner Harding, gave the information to a lot of people. He says, "Yeah, you should go on the show." A lot of people called me about it, so we're starting to get a little bit of traction. But this show has always been popular because people want to know. This is. Has anybody ever come up to you, Charlene, and indicated that they've seen you on the show?
Not really, not really. I haven't had that yet. I'm like, that hasn't
It's
happened to me
coming.
yet.
It's coming.
You don't have any paparazzis outside you, flashing the cameras at you.
Has not been close yet.
Not that you need that, right?
Please don't give me that. I already have enough, Tony. But no, I think that would be an amazing opportunity. Like if Mayor Adams does come, I obviously have to let Tanya know because she's definitely would love to be part of the show. I'll have to probably drag her back in here to get in, so she can have that great conversation. But yeah, I'm definitely happy that I'm able to support the show and just bring resources and just kind of like it's just giving people information. Something like what you said at the start of the show that, I mean, so much has happened so far. We had an earthquake and then we had an eclipse. But the fact that people didn't know that there was an eclipse happening, like that's something that is scary because that can really affect your eyesight if you're having.
Somewhere down the line, even though, as I said before, I felt that the energy of that one-mindedness at that particular time, the energy of one mind is very powerful. If you have a large number of people thinking about the same thing at the same time, there's an energy that flows. So
Yeah.
throughout, at least this country and others, at a certain time of the day, there were millions of people who had a focus on one thing.
Yeah.
And not only did they have a focus on one thing, but experience the energy of a joy or a satisfaction or a
Mhm.
happiness or a way of developing a higher frequency of thought. And I truly believe that that is going to, just like the earthquake has tremors, once it happens, then you have the aftershock.
Yeah.
I truly believe that there will be an aftershock of the positive energy that took part there, not necessarily the show of the eclipse, but the energy that came around the show of the eclipse. That I truly believe that we will, and 2024 is that time anyway. We're moving into that point in 2024 that things are working.
Yeah. I would definitely would love to see continued fruition for all of us and like positivity. So definitely.
Kayla, please let people know how they can reach you. Give us.
Yeah.
So you can reach us at our website as well, of course. We have a Keyla, that's Keyla consulting.com. So that's Keyla consulting.com. We have our email info at I'm going to emphasize the E, YLA consulting.com. So you can reach us out to us via email. We do free consultations. So feel free to reach out and schedule a consultation just so we can learn more about you.
And Kayla, who what give us an understanding of the targeted market that you work with? If
Hmm.
someone is watching this, why would they want to? What can you do to help them?
If you are considering either starting or scaling your business, come to us. If you are a small to medium sized owned business trying to navigate how to really grow or diversify and grow, whether it's your digital presence or through by way of business development, reach out to us. We do have a age demographic and psychographics and all of those, but just it can't hurt you to reach out, and we can let you either provide you with the resource that can help you if we're not able to, or absolutely see how we can help you meet your needs and goals.
And Charlene, even though you do this a lot, but there are always some new people. Who do you look for? How do they reach you?
So definitely, I'm looking for businesses within the built environment, and what that looks like is just businesses and services that can support us with the maintenance and the development of buildings. We do have a lot of residential buildings, and we also do have a few commercial spaces. So if you're able to support us in terms of managing that, you can always reach out to me. That's my email. We do also have our CU Grow website, so I'll put that as well, so that you can promote that. And then our CU Grow website has a lot of information in terms of the vendors that we have. It also has an interest form, so that you can engage with us. So we definitely are collecting an interest form, engaging the businesses throughout the year because our application pool has closed. But we do reopen our application pool around mid fall just to start engaging with businesses and letting them know, hey, we're gearing up for another cohort. So just know that next year we're doing another two cohorts. So we'll be doing this for a few more years. So we have a lot of businesses to engage with. So that's definitely double the amount. We've always averaged with our applications about like 100 to 160 this year around. I think we were like around that same number. But in order to engage with this amount of really good businesses, like 40 really good businesses, we definitely need to double that amount. So we need a lot of outreach to do.
Well, again, I think that
I, I
there's,
keep that, Kayla. I definitely reaching out.
You
I
come
think,
to the right place,
I
right?
think that the mind of the universe was
Yes,
working for everybody on this particular situation. Uh,
absolutely. Yes.
I, 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 I can't help myself from taking some credit
Yes.
for creating this opportunity.
Thank you, Tony, so much
you,
for
you
making the
know,
connection.
when you get a certain age, you have to be able to rest on your, you want to smell the roses
Yeah.
while you can smell them.
It's always something with Tony. It's either bringing somebody that he already knew in another lifetime, or he's bringing somebody that I'm like, oh my God, you've been holding out on me? Like, what's going on?
Yes, yes. It's always the hidden gems. And also, what's the saying? Want to go fast, go alone. Want to go far, go together. So thank you, Tony
Absolutely.
and Soul City, for providing this platform and bridging these connections and being a resource
Yes.
for diverse businesses. And we honor and thank you for the opportunity too.
Well, again, I have to give a shout out to Melissa because she was really the connection with you and Kayla, bringing you to the house. And actually, it's interesting because we have our meetings at the new Renaissance Marriott Hotel, and it just so happened that I think it was the last membership meeting that you came to. Something happened with the space for your meeting, and
Yes.
you were able to have the meeting at the hotel,
Yes,
which
that thanks to the Harlem Tourism Board. So we had over 250 registrants. So of course, HGGI could not accommodate more than 50 people. And so at the last minute, I flagged it, but I don't know if they expected such a large turnout. So at the last minute, because I was able to attend the
well,
Harlem Tourism Board meeting.
one of the things that did was to allow for me to not have a lot of argument when I say I want to have a HTV meeting at the hotel because a day after that they had 200 and so on people coming in for a conference.
Amazing. That's amazing.
But it's that's what urbanology is about. That's kind of like the whole idea is bringing people together who, as you say, can work together. And I'm so happy. There's always a pleasure, Charlene. I can't. The words are not available to me to explain how happy I am to be able to work with you and how proud I am as to what you're doing at Columbia University.
Thank
And
you.
Kayla, um, for better or for worse, now that you know me, Shelly, Shelly,
It's all out of love. It's all out of love. So I really feel coming here is a way for me to just disconnect and just really talk to a really good friend and just share resources that I already have in my head, things that are happening. So I'm always like honored to be here and support the community as much as I can.
and so Kayla, welcome to the family in a sense. You
Thank
know,
you.
you know that I'll be calling you, especially with the Go Harlem website and some of the
Yeah.
other things that we're looking to do as far as branding. But on the other end of it, for those who are out there, these are two ladies who are doing a lot of work. I'm just so happy to provide a platform for them. And of course, you can contact Soul City or contact them directly. But thank you for your time. Thank you for your work. And Charlene, if you weren't so busy, I would try to make us have two shows.
Oh gosh.
But I'm just thinking that. Don't worry.
Don't get that idea in your head.
As I said, no good deed goes unpunished.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
Thank you both. And that kind of
Thank you.
brings us to the end of
Thank
this
you.
show. One of the things, and while I still have you ladies, and this is a question I'm going to ask, uh, does the name Sophia Stewart mean anything to either one of you?
Sophia Stewart, no. It doesn't. It doesn't ring a bell.
I
What
can
about you?
Google. No, it doesn't.
Well, uh, in an upcoming show, I'm going to interview Sophia Stewart.
Oh, really?
Sophia Stewart is the person who wrote The Matrix and The Terminator.
Oh, yes.
She was
Whoa! Now that you say that, I know her infamous
she was in
interview.
school once, and she submitted to
Wow.
at the writers' workshop, and of course they buried it, and they brought
And
other
that this
people
is
in,
how
and
erasure
she
happens.
Yeah.
had to go to court. But the interesting thing about it is that I had a conversation on my actually on the show that's playing now as we talk, and her name came up because of talking about AI and how AI is, and that was the premise. One, how AI at some point might take over if it's not challenging, and the fact that we're in the matrix. This is stuff that is not always real. It's the
Yeah.
things that have been put together to make us think that all of the stuff that we're dealing with is real, which is really a matrix. And I can't wait to try to work out a way. They're making a movie about her, and so I got a call, and I said, of course, I would love to interview her.
I would love to tune in and watch. So please let us know.
And you can always watch shows on the Facebook, the Soul City Network Facebook page, as well as the Harlem Tourism Board, uh, HTB Harlem, and also links. So, which we can always see you. And there's some new things that are happening with Soul City coming in June, where you'll be able to watch it in some other venues. So that'll be great on TV and on your phone and all of those things. So things are moving up. And before I leave, I have to keep saying this is the 50th anniversary of Harlem Week. So obviously, we're going to start doing a number of things and promoting 50 years of creating the. Actually, that's where the Harlem tourism and hospitality industry started. Dealing with Harlem Week and bringing people to Harlem. So I'm so proud to be a part of that, even though I'm trying to act like I'm 50. but nevertheless, it's one of those things. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. We have some interesting things for Soul City. So 4 o'clock, please keep us in mind. And also, we have a radio. We can't do both, but I can always send send the MP3s of the radio show. And if I can be of help to any of you, of course, please let us know. Uh, it's Soul City, the WACR, and the Harlem Community News. So those are some of the things that we have Urbanology presence in, and be glad to help whatever way we can. Take care, ladies. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
pleasure
you.
meeting you, Caleb. Thank you, Matt. Bye, Tony.
Likewise. Have a
Right.
good one. Bye-bye.
And that brings us to an end. As I had mentioned before, there's a number of things that are coming up. A lot of interviews with the 50th anniversary of Harlem Week. An interview with Sophia Stewart. That I really want to try to make that happen soon as possible, because that's such an interesting story. And of course, our mayor, we would like to be able to. The press has not always been that kind to the mayor. Well, both of the. He's the second black mayor, so for some reason, these things happen when people of color reach a certain position. There's always that ugly head of racism that comes up, which is great because now we have the ability to create our own narrative. So again, thanks for watching. Hopefully we will be back, God willing, next week. Enjoy this wonderful spring day, and hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Urbanology.